Dave Palumbo here with another RXMuscle exclusive live with today's guest is a very special one. He is our NPC Nationals super heavyweight and overall champion and new IFBB pro, Carlos Thomas Jr. I've been waiting for this interview for quite a while. I'm sure you have too. Welcome
Yes,
to
sir.
the show.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me on. I know we've always talked about, bringing me on when the time comes, and it's finally here, and it almost feels surreal. It hasn't really sunk it in yet.
I was going to say, you a lot of people don't realize, the progress that you've made over the last several years. I mean, what was the last year you competed as a middleweight at the Nationals?
2017. That was the Nationals that we did together. That we took 5th place.
That was 4 years ago only, and now you went from middleweight, not to light heavyweight, not to heavyweight, to super heavyweight. What?
Yes,
how tall are you exactly? I want the exact measurement. No cheating.
No cheat. No cheat. I am like if you want to cut off the quarters and the halves and 3/4, I am 5'6". But I like to call myself right below 5'7".
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you packed on a tremendous amount of mass in a short period of time, and that some is due to genetics, but you had a very, very strong work ethic. I know your father was very supportive too. I know he's sitting right beside you there, but
yes,
Carlos Sr. And you guys have been a great team. And I mean, we knew this day was going to come, but what was it like hearing your name announced as the overall champ?
Man, Dave, I was just pumped. It was, like I said, it was, I don't know. I don't know what the word to describe it, but it was just like a confirmation, a validation that, hey, this is something that you've worked for, and that, that you can continue to progress in and be a professional in. And I am a professional now. And, because I said to myself when I started this, that I was like, I think I can go pro in this. I think I can. And we had talks about it, and you believed in me, and you knew the ins and outs of, sometimes I doubted myself, and and if I could make it, if I could do it, and you just said, you just got to do it, just do it, and you always told me, like, you never fail if you try. You never fail if you try, if you keep trying, and if you don't quit. So didn't quit and just kept going, man. And hearing the name called as the overall champion it was amazing.
A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think because of the fact that you're so talented that you have a supreme confidence in yourself, and you were really very hard on yourself, which is one of the reasons why you're so good, I think, too, because you're never satisfied. You were always doubting, am I big enough? Am I this enough? Am I that? And that's good, because that makes you work harder. But sometimes it can act negatively too, because maybe the pressure gets too great for you because you put too much pressure on yourself. How did you learn to balance that? Expectations of yourself, but yet not be too harsh on yourself?
Honestly, Dave, it's from my support system. It's from my dad. It's from my mother. It's from my sister, my trainer Kyle, who's like my best friend. It's from my girlfriend, Ina. She supports me, and it's from you. I've reached out to you plenty of times throughout the years, just to express myself and to kind of let off some of that excess pressure and excess steam that I kind of self-induced. So it's from the support system that I have around me. I'm able to lean on them when times are hard, and it's also it's also from just seeing myself progress throughout the years. I see the changes happening, and I know that if I stay the course, they'll continue to keep happening.
Yeah. When you were doing this overall pose down here, what were you thinking in your mind? It was funny because, and I even said it on the wrap up, you were not the, usually the super heavyweight guy is the tallest guy. You were like the third tallest guy.
Right. I was probably tall as like the lightweight up there.
You were like, it's like the middleweight height, and that you were just packing supreme amounts of mass on your body. I mean, when you looked at your physique, obviously you look like a pro. I mean, and I think that's really what cinched it in the judges' mind. But what were you thinking? I mean, was the overall very important to you to win that, to validate you?
Yes. The overall was very important. It's something that I set out to do when I started this prep. To like winning the class, I knew like winning the class would get like, or coming second would give me the pro card. But again, it wasn't something that I wanted to rest on my laurels and just be like, okay, I'm satisfied with that. So we set out to get the overall, and during the pose down, I knew that guys like, if you see Ronnie, if you saw Jay, everyone followed them. They were the leader of the pack when the pose down happened, and that's something that I wanted to do, was establish myself as the leader of the pack throughout the overall comparisons in the pose down.
And that's exactly what you did. Now, a lot of people also were commenting on the professionalism of your presentation and your posing, and you look like you had been doing your fourth Olympia already. The way you were up on stage with, and it felt very comfortable up there. How much time were you devoting to posing every day?
So I'll have to say that I really stepped up my posing after the qualifying show that I did, the NPC Battle Royale. I was going into that show was mostly nerves. It was about me kind of just shaking off those nerves, and as you say, getting that stage presence back. Because if you're not on stage, you kind of lose that confidence a bit. So going through the getting on the stage at the NPC Battle Royale and kind of getting the nerves out there, that allowed me to okay, move forward and be like, all right, what do I have to work on? And I felt that my posing really needed some work on at that point. So I reconnected with Kenny Wallach, my posing coach, and we worked on the mandatories, found the shots that highlighted my strengths, and we really drilled those in person and through Skype calls. And then down in Orlando, we drilled the posing again from probably when the day I landed in Tuesday or Wednesday, all the way to the day of the show. We continued working on the posing of the mandatory. And then for my posing routine, I actually worked on my posing routine with my girlfriend, because she has a dancing background. So she really instilled in me the importance of the posing routine and displaying a professionalism, not only in the mandatories but in the posing routine as well.
Yeah, even though it's not being scored, the judges are still watching you. You don't want them to look like you kind of just threw it together at the last second, which a lot of guys unfortunately do. The last minute they throw a posing routine together, and it looks like it. And so you didn't leave any stone unturned, which is a smart move on your part. Now, a lot of people commenting about your legs. I mean, even Chris Macedo was freaking out over those quads. They look, the word that we've been using is cartoonish almost, because they're so freaky, with the flaring, quad sweep and, the great separation when you lock them down. Tell the viewers what you do for legs.
Come on, Dave. Man. You know what I do.
I want you to
squat,
say it.
Man. I squat and I barbell squat.
Yeah,
barbell squat, and I do it with good depth and good form, and and I go heavy within the rep ranges that I usually go. So I usually do anywhere from possibly like 6 to 12, but I do work higher rep ranges at some points throughout my training. But I never give up the barbell squat, maybe until the last week of prep, because I feel, and my dad will tell you this, he can even see it. He'll see, like, he'll be like, wow, like if I stop barbell squatting, he'd be like, what are you doing with your legs? Like, your legs are changing. Like, what are you doing?
You took the words out of my mouth. One year I decided I wasn't going to squat because people told me, oh, you'll bring your waist down. My legs look terrible, the worst they ever looked, and I had good legs, so it gives your legs a certain look of completeness, and I can't explain it any other way, and I can't keep repeating myself. I don't know why people don't listen. If you want great legs, you got to squat. That's all there is to it. Unless you have a severe injury, there's no reason why you should be doing Smith machines, right? I mean,
yes, I agree. And then like people nowadays, I guess the popular thing is the hack squat, and
not the same.
And that's all well and good. And I hack squat as well. I hack squat and barbell squat in the same session. Right. So, but I promise, like, that if you barbell squat, and I've done it forever, ever since I started ever since I started lifting weights, I've never, there's never been a time where I've fully stopped barbell squatting, maybe like a week or two, but then like, as I mentioned before, my dad will be like, whoa, like your legs are looking different now. Like, go back to what you were doing. Stop that. So, barbell squatting, as you can see the video here, like barbell squatting has always been a staple in my leg training. And it's kind of like it's kind of like a lift that also just it's a satisfying lift for me, because it gives me fired up for the rest of my session, or sometimes I'll throw them in at the end of the session.
Yeah.
But my session does not feel complete unless I've done like barbell squats.
Now, I want to preface something also. Those barbell squats you saw him doing, some people might say, but he's really not going all the way down. He's going all the way down because his hamstrings are hitting his calves. He can't physically go any lower. That used to happen to me too. People be like, I don't know how you look like you're going pretty low. I have a long leg. I don't know. My hamstrings are touching my calves. Once that happens, you can't go any lower than that.
Exactly. So I get that sometimes. And you had some crazy hamstrings.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. You work a real job. You work at the University of Pennsylvania medical school there. How do you fit into like real clothing to go to work?
Stretching. You got to find the ones that have like the stretch flex spandex material in it.
You must look like Ronnie Coleman in your suit, because if you have to wear, do you have to wear like a dress shirt and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I do wear dress shirts when I'm in the office, but I haven't been in the office for over a year now. So
you're working from home now. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's no way
it's a blessing.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you go into your closet and try to put a suit on now, there's no way anything in there that you have is going to fit you. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Carlos Sr., you better go buy him some clothes.
Yeah, Dad. Dad's gonna have to come buy me some more.
So
clothes,
when he goes to the Olympia, and he's got to go to the after party, he has something to wear.
Yeah. So we had after the show we went out to dinner, and I was like not wearing a dress shirt, so I definitely wore a nice t-shirt though. So my girlfriend's in a dress, and I'm like, I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt.
Luckily, no one goes anywhere anymore because of COVID, so you don't even need clothing anymore.
Yeah,
right?
And it's my girlfriend in the background here. That's Ina.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? You could like Photoshop a suit onto yourself.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's probably a filter on Instagram that will add a tie to your shirt.
So I try. I will see. We'll see. Maybe once I'm big time, I'll have a tailor suit sponsor. Right.
That's right. You call Phil Heath, ask for his tailor. He's got.
There you go. Yeah.
What's the plan now moving forward for 2022? Have you thought about like a pro debut?
Honestly, I've been contemplating it a bit. But I don't want to rush anything. I want to be when I go, I want to be ready, and I want to be undeniable. I want to go out, like a Hunter, like a Nick Walker, and I want to be able to win my pro debut hands down. That's just how I feel about it. I know some people are like, I just want to go and I want to kind of get my feet wet. I'm like, no, I'd rather be in a position to be competitive and to really do some damage. So we'll have to see how the off season progresses, and if the call comes where my dad and the team around me feels as if my girlfriend, my dad, my coach, and my trainer, and Kenny, we all see that if I'm ready to go, then I'm ready to go. Then we'll pull the trigger on the show. But we have something in mind. We have a few places in mind that we were thinking of, maybe like a New York Pro, or
I was going to say historically, guys who win the Nationals do the New York Pros there.
We were thinking of New York, and it's right here, and my family could come, and that would be a great show to do. And I've always went to the New York Pro. I've never missed a New York Pro since I've started bodybuilding, as far as a spectator. So yeah, that would be probably the top one on my list to do.
When you look at your physique, and I said this, I say it as a joke, but it was true. Whenever I would look at my physique after a show, I would all I would see would be the things that I needed work on. I would almost want to vomit. Like I would say, oh my God, this looked terrible. That looked terrible. When you look at your physique and analyze it from the Nationals, and you look at all the pictures, what did you not like about your physique that you think you need work on?
Well, definitely, I think that I need to, of course, bring up my back more, bring up the thickness of my back. That's something that we've discussed, and that's something that needs to be brought up a lot to be that undeniable pro, because the saying goes, shows up one from the back. So I definitely want to continue to bring that up, and we have plans in place to do just that. And then as I feel as if bringing that bit more conditioning. I felt that we brought good conditioning, a good blend of conditioning along with the size, and as you call it, the cartoonist features and things like that. Right. But I know I can be better. So that is something I want to continue to work on and continue to bring in. And I know you say, I remember we had a discussion about this, that, muscle maturity, it takes time, through the process of dieting, the process of, competing. So bringing up the conditioning, bringing up the back. And I definitely feel as if, I have good arms, I have good legs. I definitely want to see more upper chest, more shoulders, and of course, more back.
Yeah, I think I agree 100% with your assessment. I think, more back, and that's going to always be, your thing. And the great thing is you have tremendous width to your back. You kind of have like, and you don't have short lats by any means. You just need more detail in the middle. And I think that comes with, with age and maturity a lot of times in a lot of guys. I'm always amazed sometimes when you see these guys right off the bat that have a lot of really good back development. Because I always feel like back is like almost like the last body part to really, quote, come in, type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but everyone has their genetic strengths and weaknesses. What's the plan now that the show's over? Are you going to take a break, or are you a guy that goes right back to the gym Monday morning?
Oh, we're right back in the gym. We're right back in the gym hitting it. But I did take a little bit of a break on Sunday just to enjoy myself. I did take a bit of a break yesterday. But we're right back in the gym today.
That's awesome.
Cardio in the morning. Back on the scheduled plan of eating. But of course, the holidays are here, and I definitely want to give back to the people who sacrificed so much during this prep. My girlfriend back there, my dad right here, my family, my friends. I want to definitely give back and be able to spend a little bit of time with them during these holiday season. But no, we're right back in the gym, of course.
Do you have like I know a lot of bodybuilders are so consumed with bodybuilding and that it's hard for them to work a real job. Now you have a very good job, at a non-bodybuilding place, we'll put it that way, and you're good at it, obviously, and you're probably getting paid a decent salary. Do you have problems like especially when you're dieting for a show? Is it like, are you like, oh man, this stupid job, if I need to go to the gym, I got to do cardio, I got to go to the supermarket. I mean, do you ever get thoughts like, I just want to quit the job and do bodybuilding?
Yeah, it gets hectic like that, and I definitely feel as if maybe the last 4 weeks were probably the toughest for me.
Yeah.
As far as cognitively, because I don't have a physical job, but it's a lot of mental work and juggling a lot of schedules and juggling a lot of documents. So yeah, it gets a little bit tough, and my girlfriend and my dad will tell you, they definitely heard their fair shares of, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm done with this place, I'm done with this job. But now that I got some food in me, I'm like, you know what, it's not so bad.
Yeah. Well, I think being at home is probably helping you out too, working from home.
And being at home was great because I was able to cook my meals on time and fresh. And if I was to have to travel 45 minutes again to not complaining or anything, but if I was to have to travel to my office, which is about 45 minutes away, it would definitely be a bit of a cumbersome thing to do. So so working from home was helpful, but there was my fair share of moments where my people around me did hear me complain a bit.
How old are you now, Carlos?
29.
All right, so you're in your prime. I always say people who turn pro right before they turn 30 are it's perfect. It's like it's like you graduated into the next decade of your life, and you got a pro card to go along with that. So sometimes with maturity, people do better as bodybuilders when they have a little bit more maturity. Sometimes in the younger guys, they're kind of like a little immature, and maybe they lose focus. But I think when you're in your kind of later 20s already, you kind of know what you want and where you want to go with it. So I always say sometimes success comes better, or you have better success, when you're a little older. So I think that's going to work out well for you. Now, looking towards the future, what did you weigh on stage?
Yeah. So on the day of the show, I was actually 220. But I weighed in around 225.
Oh, so you just made super heavyweight, really? You could have been a heavy.
So I just made the super heavies.
Did you do that purposely? Did you want to be a super heavy, or did you just not care?
No, we went ahead and just decided to stay with the super heavies. And
why? What was the reason for that?
Well, we felt that the comparisons really matched up well as far as my size against some of the other guys' weaknesses. So my strengths against the weaknesses. So we kind of thought it was more of the right thing to do, and then in the overall, we knew we could compare it to, you know, the other guys, and that that I would stand out a little bit more in the overall than I would being in the heavies.
Okay, so it was a strategic move on your part. You obviously knew exactly what you could have gone either way, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it could have went either way, but we definitely decided to do the super heavies. Like I said, we knew that I would stand out in that class, and in the overall, I would stand out again against everyone else. You know, the heavyweights, the light heavy, and so on and so forth.
Let me throw a crazy scenario out there, and you can tell me I'm crazy if you want. Would you ever consider sucking down to like 212 and try to compete at 212, like, you know, maybe sooner than later, rather than trying to wait and do like the open?
You know what? I'm not so sure, Dave. Like I want to do the open. You know, like that's something that I know. Like people have mentioned, you know how Derek Lunsford got down to 212.
I mean, you're right there. You could make it if you had to, you know.
Yeah, I definitely could. And maybe that's something in the cards that, you know, we see how I look, and we see that, you know, 212 is something that is, you know, my body just looks really, you know, looks good at. But that's definitely going to dictate, you know, where I'm going, is the look of the body, the conditioning, you know, because who knows, if I suck down 5 more pounds, like, will I lose my back? And, you know, then then I lose a show, you know, that could be something that costs me a show. Whereas, you know, I stay a little bit fuller, bring good conditioning, or, you know, better conditioning than usually. And, you know, I'm a little bit more comparable to, you know, these other bigger guys.
Right. Plus you're in a growth spurt now, so you might as well keep growing, you know, while you do it.
Yeah. I'm loving it right now. So we're going to get it.
Are you a guy, you know, just for people, I know the answer to this question already, but are you a guy who needs to eat a lot of food to grow, or are you kind of just a you know, an anabolic freak, so to speak, where you just put the right food in, you go to the gym, and the muscle comes on?
Yeah, I think I'm like a little bit of both, though. You know, like I feel as if like I don't need a ton of food. Like I don't even need a ton of food to fill up. Like I really don't. You know, I like we talked about it. You could probably fill me up on 150 grams of carbs, and I'm good to go. Crazy, but yeah, I'm as far as like pushing the food in the off season, I'm a little bit of both. Like a fine line of like, you feed too much, I'll definitely put on a little bit too much body fat. You feed too little, I won't grow. So I feel like I'm right in that middle of pushing the food to a certain extent, but not too much where, you know, I will put on too much body fat.
Well, I want to congratulate you and the whole team over there, including
so
Carlos Senior, for the huge victory
right
at
over
the Nationals. Good job, Dad. Good job, Carlos. Good job, girlfriend back there. And good job, entire team, because you are the overall champion. You're going to be added to that list up there with Lee Haney and Kevin Levrone and all the former NPC National overall champions. And that's something that no one could ever take away from you. And enjoy the spoils of your victory, as I always like to say.
Yes, sir. I definitely will. You know, I'll definitely be giving you a call, and we'll keep in touch, of course.
Absolutely. No, I love Carlos is great because he'll call me up. And usually his father's on the phone too. We always have a powwow. We'll talk strategy and some, you know, some psychology reinforcement and everything like that. But that's good because you're willing to reach out and take ideas from different people and incorporate that into your your protocol.
You know,
and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
You've been a mentor to me since I've entered this game, and you know, you've never steered me wrong. And you know, you've the phone, you're like, just call me. So I really appreciate that, Dave. You know, so I really can't express how much I appreciate all of your support, you know, from the moment I stepped on stage.
It was a pleasure to watch you progress from, you know, a fledgling.
And you called it.
You know,
you really called it. You said that at our first Nationals together, our first show together in 2016. We got 16th in the middleweights, and you said, "Don't worry about it. You know, you're going to be a good pro, and you're going to be an open pro." You said that. So, you know, we'll see about how the open pro goes. But you know, I really appreciate everything, Dave.
Yeah, you're going to be. I think that staying with the open class is a good move for you, because I think you can add another 10 pounds of muscle easily to your body, and I think that you'd be very, very dangerous. You know, you're going to be another like a William Bonac type of physique on that stage with the freaky, you know, complete muscle. And once you get that conditioning and that dryness, people better watch out. Carlos Thomas is coming for them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. That's going to take us, guys, to the end of another episode of Live With. I'm Dave Palumbo with Carlos Thomas. We'll see you next time.